we're going to go ahead and get started. And so the first few minutes are just dedicated to anyone who would just like to share out what's going on at their school. So if you just want to unmute yourselves and share out, it's kind of just whoever wants to go can go. This is, again, your opportunity to share all the good things that are happening at your school. And then we're recording it, so Michelle and LaTanya are on their way to the call, but then they can still obviously watch it later. So yeah, if you guys just want to share anything going on at your schools. Or Khadijah, if you want to share what you've seen during site visits.
Yeah, so I was just finished Chicago last week, and so at some schools we were going over virtual reality solutions, so students were able to determine if virtual reality would be a good way to address some of the problems that their small business partners are having. We've also worked a lot with augmented reality business cards and working with students on how to not only use a reveal, but Erasmus on the laptops. That's what I did with some students today, and that went really well at Twills Astoria. That was a lot of fun. It was about 6 students, so that was cool. We've also done a lot of work with pitching, like at Gwendolyn Brooks. We were able to take students through a design thinking challenge and work on them with pitching, and then doing rapid pitching, like kind of in the moment. Christina, I, and Dr. Rock also, and those were very small groups as well, and that was good for us to like see the students and like get them involved in the design thinking process. They came up with some very cool, innovative ideas, so it was good to just see them and like watch them work.
Cool, thanks for sharing. Anyone else want to share what they've been doing at their schools? How things are going?
I can share a bit.
Yeah, go ahead, Jose.
So at our school, we were out of the 3 classes that are doing this. One of the classes is done. We've done the whole like the whole preliminary and did the whole figuring out what small businesses. They created their pitches. They did all that, and we have decided on our 2 winners, and then. Those are the ones who are going to go to present in the April showcase. As for the other 2 classes, they're still finding their small businesses, which is a little difficult to do during the school day. But they definitely created their own apps, at least for now. They have and they're currently in the creating of the pitching process. So we're pretty much good.
Cool. Anyone else want to share some stuff going on at their schools?
I'll go. So at Harbor Teacher Prep, we had a visit a couple weeks ago from Alejandro and Brendan, and they were really insightful and helpful with my students. I've talked about it, but it's nice to have them come out and kind of, they took their teaching a little bit more to heart, and so the kids were super excited to get kind of turned loose and kind of start. Our small business partners, we've been really lucky that most of the students within my class have a family member, someone that they can tap. So we really have that that mom and pop shop type business where it's a lot more approachable, and it's not so big, not like a big company, and they're really excited to work with our students. So it seems like it's going well. Just a quick question: do you have any sample pitches that you filmed that maybe I could share with my students so they can kind of see if they're on task?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have lots of pitches. We can send you the top 1, 2, and 3 from last year of every region. We'll create kind of like a 1-pager with like all of those referenced. The only thing is, as a quick reminder, last year there was not a huge focus on the Sustainable Development Goals. So that'll be missing from those student pitches, but they did talk about impact and how their app solutions help the world. So that'll be something that's missing from last year's pitches that you guys will just have to make sure to remind your students that the rubrics have changed a little bit since last year. Yeah, we can send you that.
So like a video, is it like a video? Is that how you would send it? Cool.
So it'll just be a bunch of links, and then almost every single one of the student pitches is on like my ASU, my ASU like YouTube channel. And so you can just go through everything. They're examples of administrator videos that we're going to talk about in a little bit. They're examples of like small business partner videos that you guys can reference. So it's like a huge list of videos that you can just explore and find all of the resources. Great. Anyone else want to share what's going on at their schools? This is your chance. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk just a little bit about curriculum. So I know that, or Mike Warner, do you want to share something?
Well, the only thing I had is a couple of questions about the April 25th event. Is that something that we're supposed to invite our small businesses to and administrators to, or is that just, is that one team, or is that one team from each of the companies?
So we are definitely going to talk about that in our agenda. So I love that you're asking about it. For all of the regions except for Boston, each school is going to bring 2 teams from their school to pitch. Because we're holding the Phoenix one at 1951, which is our co-working space downstairs, we have the capacity for about 100 people to be there. So with that, you can bring more students to do like the gallery walk portion. You're welcome to invite your small business partner. We'll put out kind of, we're working with Verizon to create an invitation that you guys can circulate with your stakeholders to invite. And then we'll try to estimate about, since we have 7 schools in Phoenix, 7 schools, I'm gonna try to make things a little bit fairer when it comes to inviting guests, but we will definitely get to that. So I love that you asked that.
Great.
So next thing, we just wanted to talk a little bit about curriculum, not to get too in depth with it. So we do have all of the curriculum up on Blackboard. Some of our teachers are still struggling a little bit to get onto Blackboard. If you are still struggling with Blackboard, please email us. That's where you can find every single piece of curriculum that has been written. We're also working with Khadijah and Alejandro to gather feedback on that curriculum so that we can make sure to make modifications for it for next year. And so if it's challenging for you to use or implement, or if it's confusing, we definitely want to know that, because we want to try to make sure that it's as user-friendly as possible. Just like, we practice what we preach when it comes to like our program and our students is it's got to be centered on the user. And so if the users are not using it because it's challenging or because it's confusing or because it's just plain not working, like we want to know that so that we can make sure that we create a product, a service that, like you guys are using. So that's just like my little information about curriculum. Again, Khadijah and Alejandro are going to follow up with you guys about that. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is, are there any questions about curriculum? Again, you're not required to use it, but if you aren't using it, why not? If you are using it, what's so great about it? How's it going? And Khadijah and Alejandro will follow up with you about that. So the next thing on our agenda, does anyone have a question about it though?
No, my kids really loved the Spaceship Earth one. And then from there, I took it one step further where I gave them different descriptions of different people. And we had to use consensus building as a class to choose who were going to take the last 10 seats on the space shuttle.
Nice.
Or on the spaceship. So, but that one's really high engagement. They did really good things with the prototype for the intro to design thinking. And they really love doing the videos. So it's been, using the curriculum has been pretty cool. Also, because we're in an embedded model, but we're also block schedule, having your curriculum only take about 45, 50 minutes leaves me time to still do more of my environmental science stuff, which has been easier in incorporating that thus far. So it's been going really well.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Deanna. And Deanna's from our LA region.
LA, sorry.
Yeah, you're totally fine. At Animal Jackie Robinson. Anyone else want to give any feedback in this moment? Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about is final showcase locations. And so Verizon Foundation and ASU have been working to secure locations for your final showcases in all of the different cities. So I'm going to just pull up a spreadsheet that I will share with you after the call of where your showcase is going to be and the time frame. So if we look, Atlanta, you have it on 412, Verizon location located in Alpharetta. These are schools that are participating, and then any additional notes. Washington is a Verizon location in partnership with their global real estate. It's going to be in Cambridge. In Chicago, it's going to be at Carl Schurz. It's a historical landmark, one of our Bill high schools. In Vegas, it's going to be Canyon Springs, which is one of our high schools. In LA, it's in partnership with a global real estate location in Los Angeles. So it's a Verizon location. New York, it's going to be at the Verizon building. Going with New York, it's going to be like last year. For those of us that were part of the program last year, it's going to be 2 waves. And then wave 1 is going to be Fannie Lou, Twills Astoria, Thomas Edison, AOIT, and Dr. Horan. And then wave 2 is going to be in the afternoon. It's going to be all of the cohort 4 schools. Fannie Lou is not competing. Fannie Lou will present the work that they're doing with Bronx River Alliance to kind of talk about how our schools can take the next step after they're officially alumni from our program. And then in Phoenix, it's going to be here at 1951, which is our office downstairs, our co-working space. And then in DC, it's also going to be a Verizon location in partnership with Global Real Estate. I will share this document with all of you after the call. But do you have any questions about final showcase location? So for Atlanta, it's in Alpharetta. Global Real Estate is providing a shuttle bus. We just shared a shuttle schedule with Verizon Foundation. They're bringing it to their Global Real Estate department to talk about kind of like finalizing it. And then once we have that finalized, we'll share the shuttle schedule with you. In LA, Verizon Foundation is paying for parking. And then at all of our showcases, we will figure out a way to feed all of your kids, whether it's catering or it's pizza. We will pay for lunch in some way, shape, or form for you and your students to eat while they're there. And then I'm going to go over the showcase schedule shortly, but does anyone have any questions regarding the location or the time right now?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, so I will share that document with you guys after the call. I'll speak louder. Sorry, Andrea. And next thing on our agenda is the administrator administrator videos. So at Final Showcase, and again, I'll share the tentative agenda with you shortly. At Final Showcase, whether your administrators can make it or not, we'd like to grab a quick video that's 30 to 60 seconds to be included in the final showcase for your region. And we have instructions for it. And so we'd just like our administrators to introduce who they are, what school, the name of the school, the type of school. So for example, if you are CTE focused or if you're a magnet program, the region, your cohort year, so what year you started the program, and then some information regarding school demographics. So percentage for free and reduced lunch, male-female ratio, and then how the VIL program has really kind of helped give opportunities for your students to do interesting things. And then we also have some exemplar videos as well, and it'll all be in the follow-up document that I share with you guys. But I'll share with you the instructions right now just so you can see them really quickly. So it's right here. And then if your administrators did one of these last year, it's basically the same thing. We just want to make sure that we update it. So 30 to 60 seconds, name, title, school name, type of school, region, cohort year, demographics, that should say ratio, not ration, what opportunities have emerged from this program, and then a thank you to the Verizon Foundation, and a good luck to your students at the showcase. And then these are some examples of exemplars from our administrators. You don't have to worry about formatting it and doing like lower thirds and writing all the additional things. Once you email it to Kim from our team, she will put in lower thirds and write in the name of your school and title and everything. But if you will just either share that video with Kim through Google Drive or send her a YouTube link, any way that she can kind of download it and make a few edits just for formatting. And then if you only do it in one try and there are a couple of mistakes, like that's totally fine. She will edit it out of there. So that's administrator videos. Khadija and Alejandro.
When do we need to play?
So we'd like them sooner than later because with 51 schools across the United States and then Kim having to edit them, we'd like them sooner than later just because, your administrators, they know their schools, they know you guys. So, when we've been on site visits, I've filmed the administrator in less than 5 minutes and then Kim has edited them, which is awesome. So the sooner the better. Any other questions? Okay, so next thing on our agenda is the Student Small Business Partner Survey. And so for Atlanta, Phoenix, and Boston, I emailed the regions, I emailed all of the schools and the administrators, and I sent a calendar invitation. And so this is a Google Form survey to be completed by one student leader from each team. So if you have 6 teams, you need 6 students to complete this survey. I'm going to show you the example of the one from Atlanta, and then I'll explain the purpose of this survey. So this survey, this is the Atlanta one. So it's to gather information and intel about your students and their small business partners and the challenges that they're handling for their small business partners, and then a small description of the small business partner, who the small business partner is, if they've already created an AR business card, the challenge, and then potential solutions. So the solution can definitely change later. So for example, I know at is it East Leiden or West Leiden that they're working on a blueprint for reconfiguring the office space. That solution can definitely change later. But Verizon Foundation would like to gather information about these potential solutions and then the UN Sustainable Development Goal that the solution addresses, because they're working with their marketing and PR team to send out people to kind of cover our final showcases. And this is also helpful because oftentimes they'll get a request for information about our cities and our regions and our schools and our small business partners. And they want to be able to basically reference this spreadsheet once all of the information is collected so that they don't have to worry about, or they don't have to reach out to you and ask for something like the next day. So for example, they had a small business partner article come out they wanted to get information about one of our schools in Chicago who is partnering with like a shoe boutique. And because we didn't have this information already collected, it was a lot of back and forth and it was challenging. And so this is also just so that they kind of know who may or may not be coming. So this is on a rolling deadline. Again, I've already sent them out for Atlanta, Phoenix, and Boston. And these are already sent theirs out for New York and
everyone has been sent out. I sent all of them.
So all of Khadijah's regions are sent out, and then we're just waiting for Alejandro to finish LA and Las Vegas, which we will do over the next couple of weeks because right now he's still in Vegas. And so again, Phoenix, Atlanta, Boston, New York, Chicago, DC already all have theirs. So there is a deadline for each of those. Khadijah has already sent out calendar invites. I've sent calendar invites. And then we need that information as soon as possible just so we can collect all of that information. Are there any questions?
Okay.
Hey, Steve.
There's a board policy in Chicago about student information. We cannot share student information with outside organizations. The business information, no problem.
Okay.
But we cannot share student information. I sent that last year I sent that board policy to our contact last year. So, I mean, and I see it's required in here, so we wouldn't be able to complete this as it is. I have gathered all that same information, however, on a Google form.
Okay.
So I can send the business information
Yeah, that's perfect. Can you,
for all of our team.
for email address and then for name of student group members, for email address, can you just put like NA or ask the students to put NA, and then for name of student group members, just put NA, but then fill in all of the rest of the information?
Yeah, we have actually all of the rest of the
Great.
information.
Okay.
So
Can you just go ahead and share that document with Khadijah and me?
I will. Not today,
Yeah, that's really fine. So yeah,
but I will soon.
Today, so it's all good.
But I think you do want to be careful about schools tend to have policies about sharing information about students.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and this is definitely an ask from Verizon Foundation so that they can use it for their marketing and PR. And so we will definitely communicate that with Verizon Foundation, especially since it has to do with like privacy and our students' privacy, and we want to make sure that everyone is safe. So thank you so much, Steve, for bringing that up.
Yeah. It's federal law, actually, so right. Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, so next thing on our agenda is showcase reminders and requirements. So every student team that comes to Final Showcase needs to have an AR business card. Every student team that comes to Final Showcase needs to have a trifold board for the gallery walk portion. And we've gone over that in all of our regions except for New York because we have our New York PD on Saturday. Has specific requirements on it. Every student team that comes to Final Showcase that's going to pitch needs to have a pitch and a pitch deck. And then in all of our regions except for Boston, it's going to be 2 student teams per school to pitch. So 2 student teams to pitch. So for example, in Las Vegas, so we have 4 schools in Las Vegas. Only 2 student teams are going to pitch from each school. However, because the capacity of the cafeteria at Canyon Springs is like 300 students, we're definitely encouraging our schools to bring more students so that they can showcase their work in the gallery walk portion, even though only 2 teams will be part of the pitching. So that's going to be true of all of our regions except for Boston, because Boston we have 2 schools, so they're bringing lots of students and 3 teams per school. And then for New York, each wave has a capacity of about 75 human beings in the room. And so that one's going to be really just the 2 student teams and then the teachers, and if small business partners are available to come. Questions about who's coming or how many? Yeah. So
can you talk about the pitch deck a little bit more?
Yeah. So we sent an email today in the weekly newsletter that has the pitch rubric in it. It has an exemplar of a pitch deck. It has a non-example pitch deck. And then we can definitely provide more support as your showcases get closer, where, you know, if your students want to practice their pitches or if they want to record their pitches and send them to us as ASU to give feedback, we can definitely do that. And then the pitch deck, that is the exemplar. There are also like some do's and don'ts just to kind of help students figure out what are best practices when creating a pitch deck. Yeah. Anything else, Allison? Okay.
No, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions about the requirements? thing, I'm going to share a draft agenda of the showcase. And this is for 2 schools in every region except for Boston and New York, because New York is going to be a little bit more expedited because it is in 2 weeks. What's that? Okay, so for the draft agenda, it doesn't officially start the showcase until 10 o'clock. So we want to make sure that our schools have enough time to arrive and set up and get acclimated with the location starting around 9:15. If you're unable to show up until like 9:30 or 9:45, like that's okay, but we're trying to give at least 45 minutes for our students to get ready. And that might be with making sure that like the Wi-Fi works with their tablets. It might be getting their final touches created on, or final touches on their pitch decks, kind of just like calming down because it's kind of an intimidating event that we want to give at least 45 minutes for our students to relax. And then starting at 10, there are going to be welcome remarks by Verizon Wireless or Verizon Foundation. They'll talk about the partnership between all of our high schools. They'll talk about Arizona State University. They'll talk about our schools. And then the program overview is going to be done by someone from ASU, whether it's Khadijah or Alejandro or Katie, who's our assistant director, or me. And then an overview of the day. So really quickly, just going over the agenda for the day. After that, we'll play the administrator videos from our schools. And so that's the opportunity for each administrator video, whether the administrator's in the room or not, to have their video played to provide context on who our schools are, because even though our schools might be from the same district, our students don't really know all of the other schools. And then afterward, we'll have a transition to the gallery walk portion, and then it'll be time for breakout rooms. So breakout rooms this year, it's kind of like having a round 1 and a round 2. So each school will have its own breakout room. So for example, I'm just looking at Claire right now. We have 7 schools in Chicago, and so there are going to be 7 breakout rooms. So Bowen High School will have its own breakout room where the 2 teams will compete against each other in that. Sorry, I'm just making sure that, okay. So each school will have 2 teams that come and they will pitch against each other in the breakout rooms. And there will be at least 1 judge from Verizon there. And they'll be using the exact same pitch rubric that we have given you guys since the beginning of the year. And then it's an opportunity for the students to play the video from the small business partner, for them to pitch, and then there's a Q&A section. And so if you notice, Team 1 has 20 minutes and Team 2 has 20 minutes. And so it's a lot longer than the final pitch. So this is an opportunity for students to provide more information about the work that they did. And then Jose, I'm gonna put you on the spot because you are one of the few people in New York who had the opportunity to be part of like the breakout room style. And so Ed and Ed, you're here too. Can you guys talk a little bit about what it was like to do breakout rooms last year? Just so it's not me talking the whole time. Ed, I'm gonna unmute you. Okay.
Yeah, I have right here.
So she and I got into a little bit of a fight. She may have told you.
You said that you're upset.
Because
okay, well, Katie, I'm gonna put you on the spot, just so it's not me constantly talking. Okay, I guess I'll just talk. So in breakout rooms, the students play their small business partner video. So it's great to grab a video from the small business partner because oftentimes our small business partners cannot come to the showcase because they're working, because they're small business owners. And so it's an opportunity to play the video of the small business owner talking about like what their business is, provide context about like who their customers are, to talk a little bit about like the work that they did with your students. And then after that, the students will pitch. So they'll do their 3-minute pitch. And then after that, they have the opportunity to do Q&A. And so this is a much more intimate version of the pitch in the breakout room, just because, you know, our judges from Verizon are going to be in the room and they don't really know students. And so this is a chance for them to interact more with students. And then once those 20 minutes are up for the first team, then they'll switch. And then the second team does the exact same thing. So we don't play the administrator video in that one because we've already played it at the beginning of the day. But the second group will play their small business partner video. They'll get to pitch, and then there's an opportunity for Q&A as well. Any questions, or did I miss anything?
What if we don't have an administrator video?
That is okay, but if you have like maybe like a department head or someone who from your school kind of shows that like there's like investment from the school itself and they know kind of what's going on as well, that would be really great. So for example, Carl Schurz last year, their administrator was on leave, and so they got their CTE director to do the video.
So a teacher?
A lead teacher would be great. So yeah, like just based on like knowing what I know about your school, Anthony, like if you want to do the video and just talk about like how this partnership has really helped your school, then that is totally fine. We definitely want plan A to always be the administrator, but if it's too challenging or if it can't work out that way, like that's totally fine. We want to make sure that all of the schools and everybody in the room has some context about our schools, because people don't know what Title I means. Like people don't know the demographics of our schools. People don't know where they're located. Any other questions?
Christine, is there a like a script for the small business partner video that will be showcased, or?
Not yet, but I
mean,
will.
we have. Okay, just so we know what needs to be included in that, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I will work on that, and we will send that out. Anyone else? Okay, next thing. PR guidelines. So that is in our newsletter today. It's to be used by you guys if you want to share the final showcase and any, if they're just specific guidelines when it comes to press releases and marketing. And so it's like kind of like best practices and then point of contact if you want to start marketing the fact that you guys are having a regional showcase. So I will share that with you. And again, all of these documents I'll share in the follow-up email after this call. So Jess Thorpe is brand communications, then Kendall Lee is person in charge of marketing. So Kendall is the whole reason why you guys have signage. If you want to invite like local media, that's totally fine. Kendall is working on invitations right now for each showcase so that you can send those out. There's specific like messages and words to share if you would like. These are just to help you. Twitter, examples of like Facebook posts and everything. If you have any questions, definitely just reach out to Jess Thorpe or Kendall Lee. They are the ones that are in charge of all of the marketing and the branding and communicating when it comes to our programs. Questions about that? Okay, next thing. Employee engagement. So there's going to be there's going to be 3 to 5 people from Verizon at every single showcase. Most of the time it's going to be 4 to 5 to 7 to 6. It's greater than however many schools we have, or it's equal to the amount of schools that we have usually. So like in Vegas, we'll have 4 because we have 4 schools, because we have 4 breakout rooms. In Phoenix, because we have 7 schools, we'll have 7 people from Verizon, and they're going to be judges for the showcase. They have already been given the pitch rubric ahead of time to review, and they will be there to interact with your students. They're going to be walking around during the gallery walk. We know that there was great success when it came to STEM Career Day, and so this is an opportunity for your students to network with adults, ask them, you know, how they got to where they are now. But yeah, Michelle, do you have anything to add for employee engagement?
No, I think Carmelita is planning to share with you guys their job description or their job titles. And one of the things that we've seen in previous years is that sometimes you're able to connect with an employee that based on their position, you can build a long-term relationship with sometimes their business team or their units that they support. So we've seen folks that maybe come from legal and they may be able to advise on pro bono legal support. We have people who came from engineering and they're taking kids on field trips to cell towers. So definitely, you know, kind of connect, introduce yourself, make sure you get their business card, and definitely leverage this opportunity. And we also have employees that are able to kind of make decisions, strategic decisions, like when we've offered internship opportunities and so forth, based on what their thoughts were on the students. So just be mindful that even beyond just the presentation mode, they're looking at everything. And based on their position, they can influence future opportunities for your students. Okay.
Thanks for sharing, Michelle. And then I'm going to go back to that draft agenda again, because I know that I kind of skipped through it really quickly. So I'm going to re-share that. And again, this is just a tentative draft. We're still working on timing, just because each region is a little bit different, has a different amount of student teams. So after the breakout room pitching, one team from each breakout room will move forward to the whole group pitching. And so after each of your two teams have competed against each other, again, only one team from each school will make it to whole group. During whole group, we're gonna play the small business partner video again, because not everyone will have seen it. Just the one judge that's in the breakout room will have seen it. And then the one team who's won the breakout room section will pitch, and this is 3 minutes each, no Q&A. And then we'll transition to awards. First place, second place, third place. We'll do a closing, and then networking / lunch. Break it down starting at 2:15, and everyone's welcome to leave by 2:30. And again, it ends at 2:30. You're welcome to stay until 3 because we have the locations until 3. Things will change just a little bit based on region again and by number of schools, but for the most part, this is kind of like a skeleton of what the showcase day will look like. Are there questions about the draft agenda?
Christina, when will they be getting their city agenda? Because I know in some cities there's waves and the time would not be reflective. So when can they anticipate getting their specific city agenda that reflects like if they're a part of wave 1 or wave 2?
So thankfully, New York is the only one that has 2 waves. Everyone else will get their city agendas 2 weeks before their final showcase, just because we want to make sure that we're mindful and care for the number of schools. And I know that you hopped on a little bit later, but for example, in Vegas, we have 4 schools. In Chicago, we have 7 schools. And so we just want to make sure that we're mindful of that and thinking about like how long the whole group pitching will be. And this is just a skeleton for now. But great question, Michelle.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding the draft agenda, the skeleton? Bill asked how many minutes does each team get? So in whole group, the one team that makes it from breakout room will get 3 minutes to pitch. There's no Q&A. We are playing the small business partner video again. Other than that, any other questions about the tentative agenda? Okay, so it's super important that you guys get videos of your small business partners and the administrator video. If you're having challenges with the small business I'm gonna work on a script / a checklist for the small business partner videos. You guys start working on administrator videos and using the checklist. And then with that, the next part of our agenda is Verizon Foundation updates. So I'm gonna throw it over to Michelle to give you guys updates with regard to the Verizon Foundation.
Great. Hi everyone. Sorry I came in late. I had a meeting run over. So 2 quick things that we wanted. So alert you guys to the first one, just to ensure that received an opportunity to review the Project Lead the Way grant. I was just curious to gather feedback around that opportunity that we released. Gosh, when did we do it? Early January. We invited schools to apply for the Project Lead the Way opportunity. So just curious as to your thoughts about the opportunity. Was it something you were interested in or not? We're constantly trying to bring best of class partnerships to our schools. So we love to hear your feedback if the partnerships we are bringing works or don't work. So any thoughts or insights around the Project Lead the Way for those of you who applied or did not apply?
Tempe High School in Phoenix did apply and was accepted for the Project Lead Away for the computer class for next year. However, the information was gotten too late for us in our cycle. In other words, registration had already been completed by the students, and so consequently we can't add that class for next school year. So obviously we're not going to be able to take it for next year. We're hoping that we'll get some consideration for the following year when we reapply.
That's helpful, Mike. So when would be the opportune window for you guys to get that information? Is the beginning of the beginning of the year too late, or how soon in advance do you need to get that information?
I would say by number would be the best for us.
All right, that's helpful.
Now, I know that I think there was an opportunity for Project Lead the Way application earlier in the year, but we didn't find out about it through the Verizon grant until I think it was in January.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. Have you reached out to them already about rolling over your application, or are you still?
Yes, we did reach out to them and talk to a representative. They said they don't have a capability of rolling it over for the next year, but that they thought that we would have a good chance if we reapplied for it next year.
All right, that's helpful. Thank you.
My school, AJR, thought that it would be the team thought that it would be a really good idea. The problem is that we're going through some transition. We're picking up other courses and dropping other ones. So admin was afraid of spreading ourselves too thin for this year, but they were interested in us applying for the next year once the dust settled a bit.
Okay.
Hello?
All right, so that's helpful to know. And I see McKinley in DC, you guys have received the grant and have no issues with starting the course in the fall of 2018.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, cool. We did accept, and we are absolutely ready to include the Exploring Computer Science course, or the introductory course, as we already teach 2 other Project Lead the Way courses. The cybersecurity course might be a bit of an issue. We actually have a teacher that teaches networking and cybersecurity, but he does it CompTIA class. And so we have to work out some logistics, whether or not we're going to kind of follow the whole Project Lead the Way track and what that actually means for central office as far as like coding the class and things of that nature. But I think we're on board with that as a plan A. My question was for if that wasn't to work and we decided to do some vertical planning with our middle school, because we have a feeder school, and could we roll that to Gateway to Technology, where they would do that sequence and then come to our high school?
So we do offer a middle school opportunity. So what, I've exclusively shared with you guys the high school opportunity, but maybe what I will do, and this will come to you via ASU, I'll share with you the middle school gateway opportunity.
Yeah.
So if you do have a feeder school that would like to apply and meet the prerequisites, an underserved school, and wants to apply, then they definitely could take advantage of it. And you guys could probably do a partnership, because what most schools are doing, like they will say, hey, their middle school students need to learn like 2 coding languages. So they want them to learn like MIT App Inventor and maybe HTML or Java. And then when they come to you, you'll add another layer and gear them up hopefully by the 10th or 11th grade for the AP computer science test.
Well,
So
yeah,
that way
that's
kind of
exactly.
working in tandem.
Yeah, that's absolutely the thinking.
Okay,
Um,
so we can share that opportunity, and actually the middle school application is open now. So after this call, I'll send over the one pager and the opportunity, and you can definitely get it out to your middle school feeder schools. They
Yeah.
will not accept you to roll over your spot to a middle school because they do vet
Oh.
the schools.
Okay.
So that is unfortunate, but I will send you the middle school opportunity.
Well, it's literally called McKinley Tech Middle School, and actually, we're literally physically connected
If
to
you
each
don't
other.
have the
But
same NES number, it's not going to count.
okay.
So
All right.
that's how they track. You have to have a unique NES number.
Okay. I'm not even sure what that is, but okay.
Cool. Anyone else? Any challenges with the application? Any pain points? Or it just didn't jive well with your school?
I just wanted to say, so I'm at Bowen in Chicago, and I was very interested in applying for it and like started the application, and then basically got like pushback from my district because the grant from Project Lead, the way they were saying, is classified as a middle school grant. And so CPS was saying, like the woman in charge of Project Lead the Way for CPS was saying I couldn't apply for it because it was technically a middle school grant, and that if I did, then it would like risk the funding of our current Project Lead the Way grants. But she like spoke to somebody at Project Lead the Way too who said that yes, it was a middle school grant, and so like ultimately they just wouldn't let me apply.
Whenever you have those type of pushbacks, you should probably reach out to us because initially we funded Project Lead the Way to begin the middle school, and then we expanded it this year to high school. So you may have been dealing with someone who had old information and was not aware, because as you can see, you had high schools that were able to apply and got it.
Yeah, and then that was my confusion because then at the regional, I found out like some other CPS schools did apply and got it.
Yeah, so
like in whatever's communicated to Project Lead the Way, if they can then communicate with like their district partners.
Yeah.
To say,
And again, it sometimes it's regional, it's a new person. So if you do experience any kind of information that makes you feel like, why did they send it to me then? Just reach out to us and we'll circle back with the leadership of Project Lead the Way and ensure that, all parties involved are on the same page. Okay? Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you so much for your feedback. The other two opportunities is actually regionally based. So, but there is an opportunity for it to expand in the upcoming year. So I just want to put it on everyone's radar, but definitely flag the New York City people. So, or teachers who will be in New York City for the summer. So I believe last month, ASU shared with everyone an opportunity to for teachers who are interested in teaching design thinking as a part of the summer program. So the summer program is called Whitney, Women in Technology in New York, I guess. And it's designed for rising college freshmen. And the goal is to train them in design thinking as a problem-solving tool. So that application was posted. And again, this is a program when we definitely see there is a strong emphasis to bring in more women in STEM, especially at the as they enter college and supporting them. So if any teacher was interested in that opportunity, or I know teachers travel, if anybody was planning to be in the summer, you can just shoot us a quick email and let us know if you're interested, because I actually worked closely with the Whitney team, helped design that program, and it would be great. I think the training that you guys are getting through IDT would definitely make you a great additive for that particular program, but it is New York based. And I think it also is a good career move, just because I was a former teacher, to show that you can work with post-secondary students in that capacity. So I don't know if there was any questions or any concerns about that opportunity. Anybody?
What's the compensation?
It was the compensation. You didn't like the compensation?
No, what is the compensation?
They didn't tell me, but they said it would be market rate.
Market rate for teachers? Market rate for...
I think it was negotiable, but I think it would be definitely be equivalent to per session New York City rate or higher. So again, yeah.
Is it on the weekdays?
Yes, it was during the weekdays. So if you were teaching summer school, you know, but again, it's for those of you who kind of done summer school and want to kind of do a different model. And then it brokers a relationship. So it's a partnership between Whitney, the organization, and the community college system, so the CUNY system of New York.
Michelle, how long was it? Is it for like 2 weeks, 6 weeks?
I have to pull back up the application, but I believe it was for 4 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, I thought it was a great opportunity. I worked really closely. It's July and August. Yeah, it was July and August. They have 2 options, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 12:30, or Wednesdays and Fridays from 9 to 4. So there were 2 definite options, and there were July 9th, the 23rd, and August 6th. So for those of you who kind of want to plan around that, and I can resend it out, but again, the deadline is closing, and they're definitely looking for people, and they think that there's great synergy with our teachers in this program, because again, I work closely with that team on constructing the Whitney program. So I know the aptitudes of the teachers and what you guys have been exposed to. So that's the first opportunity. And then, you know, we have partnerships around the country, and a lot of people are looking at design thinking and entrepreneurship. So you should definitely kind of see in your neck of the woods, if you're not in New York, are there those types of opportunities? Because if you have that relationship with a college or a university center, you know, it helps your students actually down the road, because you bring a perspective and an insight that you can bring back to the classroom. So that's the first thing. The second thing, because of the great work our students have done at these showcases, we just got a green light to offer an internship student opportunity in partnership with Project Lead the Way. So we have worked closely with the business on establishing, what do you call that? Retail labs. So retail labs is an opportunity for families to take their kids to our retail labs and offer students, young people, an opportunity to learn about emerging technology. And that has been done primarily through Project Lead the Way. So Project Lead the Way is our partner in doing that. And what we have decided, or asked Project Lead the Way, hey, can you use a student helper? So having a student or a TA, a teacher's assistant, and we feel that because our students are kind of exposed to emerging technology, they're problem solvers, they're presented well, or learned presentation techniques as a result of this program, we thought it would be a good fit. Currently, we have 36 retail labs around the country. Just want to plug that, right? And it's growing, because we started out with 4 and now we're up to 36. So they're asking us to run a pilot this summer in New York to see how well students would handle this level of responsibility. If it goes well, I strongly believe it will be scaled nationally, okay? So I just want to share with you kind of the language that they're promoting and how they'll look at it. So, and we'll send this over for everyone to take a look at it. So the premise of the Innovation Lab at our retail stores, it's designed for students 8 to 12-year-old. So the audience tend to be 8 to 12-year-olds, so pretty much middle school kids. The technologies that they're going to be exposed to, of course, is AR, VR, 3D printing, wearables, IoT, and so forth. Those workshops are offered on Saturdays only. Okay, so the student would be committing to a Saturday opportunity, and each lab is about 15 minutes. The location of the lab will be our New York City Smart Store, which is in Midtown in Manhattan. And the dates start from June all the way through August. So there are 3 Saturdays that they're committing to once a month, and those are the sessions. So it's a 10 to 4:15 commitment that the student would have to secure. And I will send this over for you guys to take a look at and offer your feedback. This is in draft state right now, but our goal is to really share this opportunity with students no later than the beginning of April, because we know summer can be very competitive and that folks are definitely shopping around for different opportunities for the summer. So any thoughts about these types of opportunities? Do you think that they would be of interest to students?
I think that's all really great. At least around where my school is, there isn't anything like that. So if I could figure out how close we would be to one of those shops, that would be great. If there were more on the West Coast, of course.
And we do have them in LA, one of the cities. So what I've done with kind of the footprint of IDT, you are in those cities. That's why we selected the cities to begin with, because I kind of anticipate things. And I try to hotspot. So if we have a concentration of things happening, I wanted you guys to be in the middle of it.
Oh, yay. Okay. Yeah. So as soon as I can get that information, I can definitely sell it to my sophomores and juniors.
For this summer, the pilot will be in New York City. And then the goal is, can we scale depending on how those New York City folks, the applications, how many responses we get, and then of course, how the students perform. So I guess I'm looking at the EDS and the of the world and the ACE team as well as, so I see you guys waving. So I'm really curious how you guys are looking at this and what are your thoughts? Comments?
Hello?
Yeah.
Do they want bilingual students?
Yeah, I think definitely, if the students have the ability to communicate, and again, we're really trying to meet customers with kids, and we know that can be a broad range of people, right? So I think the more qualities the students have, again, we just need to impress upon them. The target audience is middle school children, and they can be their own interesting batch. So they definitely have a temperament for that. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, it's Moore from ACE High School. I was wondering if there are any instructors from those type of programs that can come and turnkey some of that information, or maybe come with press kits about new technology and innovative technology, and actually visit the high schools as opposed to just having it for the middle schools. Because I remember one time Samsung came here to do some testing on VR. And,
Right. So this is the gap that we're seeing in the space, right? So we're trying to figure out how to fill that gap that most of you guys, meaning the public school system, seems to be not having access to emerging technology. And there is no one really doing it. So we wouldn't send a Samsung to you because chances are if they're coming, they're trying to sell you. And as a foundation, by law, we cannot bring anyone to you that's trying to sell you a product. So we have our own legal, barriers that prevent us from kind of brokering those types of introductions. So anything that I bring to you will have to be free, and it will have to pretty much be no sale attached because of E-rate compliance. So you would have to kind of go out on your own. So probably the best place that I would say for DOE schools would be B&H. That's the vendor that I used when I was an administrator and worked with pilots. And they pretty much can curate for you who's in the space and set up workshops and opportunities to know about what's those. B&H. They're a FAMAS approved vendor for technology. B&H Photo.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite stores.
B&H isn't a vendor anymore.
Oh, they're not?
They're not?
Nah,
Oh my God.
CDW.
CDW.
CDW kind of took over B&H as
Okay, well then I can't vouch for them because I've never worked with them. So good luck, because I don't know about them.
They'll still work with DOE schools, but they're not on FAMAS anymore.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I would have him walk a space with me, tell me what are the new technology, what's the easiest one to maintain. They were kind of my thought partner with tech integration when I worked for the DOE in New York City. And they're good at it. They kind of know what's coming down the pike and what's cheap. I know I want to be sensitive to time.
Real quick,
So any additional questions?
I have a follow-up question. As far as some of the parts of the Verizon Innovative Learning Program, some of the parts where the teachers might not be experts or might not have expertise, are there any thoughts or plans for sending out coaches to individual schools, like even more than you guys have been sending, like to check in and so on? Are there any plans to increase the number of visitors to the participating schools to try helping out with certain things? So like, I know one of the problems that we're having is none of the teachers participating are good script writers or have what would you call it, experience in that aspect of the business world. So it's hard for us to turnkey it to our students.
Okay.
So I just wondered if there was any plans to try to increase the number of people that are helping with the program that could actually do face-to-face visits with schools.
I think the challenge that we have, again, face-to-face on a national program has a cost implication, right? So we definitely have to leverage virtual. And ASU, the reason why we selected them as our, as a partner for this program is because they have a large university center of different groups of people that hopefully they can tap on. So I would just encourage you guys to be vocal. If there are gaps or areas that you feel you need support in, definitely reach out to Khadijah or your regional managers or Christina and let them know that, hey, it would be great if there was a template or a guide or some resources that could support some of the challenges that you're having, and they will definitely be quick to respond and get you guys the supports you need. Okay. Christina, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
So I know, Jumbo, that Judith is just on the phone. Hey, Ken, with Khadijah to get ready for your site visit. So I would just definitely make sure that
You sound really low, Christina.
I would just make sure that everybody is communicating with each other at school as well, because I know Judith was actually just on the phone with Khadijah to talk about providing support. So Khadijah will be at your school later this week, and we can definitely talk more about how we can provide better support. And so thank you for that feedback, Jomo, and we will make sure that we get whatever it is that you need. Don't be afraid to call us, to text us, or to email us. But yeah, with that, it is 12:32, so if you have to hop off, I just want to let everyone know that they can hop off and you're not required to stay any longer. I'm going to send a follow-up email with a summary of everything that we talked about today and all of the templates and the documents and the resources. And then if you guys can make sure that you're getting your admin videos finished, small business partner videos finished, and then that student survey completed. And based off of Steve's feedback, since it is against federal law to share all of that information, if you want to just put NA for the student email address, and even if it's just like a team name, like we are like the Fantastic Four, but we do need the small business partner information to help work with Verizon and their marketing and PR. But those are the action items. If you have questions, please reach out. It is 3 minutes past. I apologize for ending the call late. We really appreciate you guys. Please email, call, text, everything. That's that. With that, have a great day.
Hey, Michelle, can I ask you one question really quick?
Sure.
Is it for 2-week time periods for that Whitney thing during the summer?
Let me just pull it up now so that way we don't leave that dangling.
Sorry, I totally missed that email, but it's very intriguing to me.
Yeah. Okay, so the Whitney experience goes from July 9th through August 6th. So it seems like it's a month experience, but it is going to be held week of. So I will forward this to you guys. Let me post it in the chat so you have it now, and then I'll share it as an email follow-up to the group.
It just says that there's 2-week sessions. is that for the instructors to be there at 2-week sessions?
Yeah, but it's a
And it's
month-long opportunity. So what I think is happening is that they have waves of students.
I see.
Yeah, so they probably have, because it seems like it's July 6th through August 9th, so they probably have two-week sessions in order to get the maximum
I see.
participation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but again, if you have any questions and if you're interested in it, Allison, just shoot me an email and I'll reach out to the Whitney people for you if you'd like. Okay, for any clarifying questions. And that goes to any teacher that's interested.
Thank you. I don't know if I can do a month, but thank you.
Again, maybe the question is, can you agree to the first 2 weeks and not the other? And then maybe someone else might be interested in the last two. And, so again, they're flexible. I think they're really just trying to get the right people who understand high schoolers, because sometimes the college folks don't.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
Okay. With that, everyone have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your week.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.